So our date squares took about half an hour in the oven, and this is what they look like. They are so chewy. I'll just take a little piece. I wish everyone could taste these. They're so good. It's hard to describe. It's something about butter, oatmeal, and dates all together make for such a delicious treat. Welcome back to Dorothy's Kitchen. Today we are making a recipe that is not my own. We are making something originally called matrimonial squares. Matrimonial squares basically in our world are known as date squares, and that's what we're going to make today. These are so good. We can rename these Marry Me squares. We're starting off with some flour. I'm using 3/4 of a cup of white flour and 1/2 cup of whole wheat flour. And to that, I'm going to add my rolled oats. And I'm using the same rolled oats that I used the other day. These are from a company called 1 Degree Organic Foods. And these are called sprouted rolled oats. And they are so good. My bag is almost gone, so I have to go back to Costco to get some more. And this is what they look like. And we're going to use 1.5 cups of those rolled oats. And to that, I'm going to add some brown sugar. And I'm using 1/2 brown sugar and 1/2 coconut sugar today. So I'm making a few substitutions to the original recipe with just trying to do a little bit healthier ingredients. And I'm just going to give that a stir. My middle daughter's helping me out today, so she's going to do the stirring for me. While she's stirring that up, I'm going to add some baking soda. I'm just going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. This is basically our crumb mixture that we're making, and we're also going to use dates, obviously, for the center of the date squares, but we have to kind of make that into a little bit of a jammy consistency, and we will work on that. We also need to work in a whole cup of butter, so I'm going to pop in my butter here. I just softened it a little bit, and I will cut it up a bit as well. I will let my daughter work on that while I get going on the dates. There you go. So my daughter helped me make this nice crumbly mixture, and our next step is to do our dates. Now the process is we're using about 1.5 cups, sort of a generous 1.5 cups, and we're going to use pitted dates. Medjool dates are probably the sweetest, but I just got these from Costco and they already have their pits removed, so that saves a lot of time. So we're just going to chop these up. You don't have to be super fine. Maybe get your own knife, okay? So just chopped up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to heat these in some water with a little bit more sugar. Now if you don't want to have any extra sugar, then you could omit the sugar or reduce the sugar, but we are going to add a little bit of sugar in with these, and it'll make kind of a syrupy, jammy texture. So yummy. Date squares are pretty common in Nova Scotia. I don't think it's just in Nova Scotia, but I remember when I worked in the hospital when I was a teenager in my early 20s, I used to make date squares there, and everyone loved them. Well, they weren't just kids. There were some kids, mostly adults. Love them, and my kids love date squares as well.
I like dates.
And you like dates, that's right. They are very sweet.
Yeah, I like them.
And they're quite healthy for you. We'll finish chopping these guys and we'll stew these up. And then we'll show you what that looks like. So we have our chopped dates, and to that I'm going to add just 1/4 cup of coconut sugar and 2/3 of a cup of water. We're going to make this into a mushy mixture. So I'm going to bring this to a boil, but I'm going to keep an eye on it because I don't want it to burn. But it's going to turn into like a jammy consistency. Okay, so our prunes are actually all stewed up, but the next step is going to be to put a generous 1/2 of our crumbly mixture into our 9x9 baking dish. And And so then I will basically press this in nice and firm. Basically a jam-like consistency, and you know, it's not like there's no lumps at all. You could stew it even longer, but there's definitely texture to this. We're just gonna spread this on. We're gonna spread on our dates. Okay, and it is basically like a jam consistency, I find. And there's definitely some texture. There's a little guy that didn't get too stewed down, but that's not a problem. Okay, so looking like a perfect amount here.
Mama, when they're cooked, can I have one? Yeah. Yum.
Okay, so this is not cake decorating 101. We'll just smooth it out, and then we'll put our top crumb on. Watch your nose, you can lick the bowl if you want. And we'll press in our top layer of crumb. They're pretty sweet, aren't they? This is one of my dad's favorite ones. I remember I made these one time when I was going on the plane with my daughter when she was very young. And my dad got to sample a few. He enjoyed them. I think they're kind of an old-fashioned type of a food. The name Matrimonial Square, I have never had these at a wedding. Maybe when I was very young, but in modern day, people don't really serve this kind of a dessert, I don't think. Although it is pretty delicious. So I'm just popping our date squares in for about half an hour at 350. Just to get them nice and brown on the top. I hope you enjoyed making these delicious squares with us. Here's the official recipe. And if you would like other great square recipes, be sure and check out Jean Paré, because she was an amazing cook. She just passed away, but she has a strong legacy with many cool cookbooks that you should check out. There is the official bite. Wow, these are so good. Hope you enjoyed watching how we made matrimonial squares, aka date squares. Enjoy.